Yo, what's good? What's up? Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. My name is Chase Sr. No matter where you are, how you're tuned in, as always, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. And you know what I need you to do. Hit that subscribe button for daily and year-round coverage of the Birds. Coming up here today, could the Eagles be getting a key player back if they beat the Commanders and make it to Super Bowl 59? We'll also open up the floor and take your questions for a mailbag. If you are pumped up for this NFC Championship game, though, Commanders, Eagles, NFC East rivalry renewed, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. And I want to start off with this. Pretty interesting stuff here. Could Brandon Graham return to the Eagles lineup at the defensive end position if the Eagles punch their ticket to Super Bowl 59? There's a chance that the Eagles legend could come back if the Eagles make it to New Orleans. The latest on Brandon Graham. As we know, a little bit longer in the tooth. His play hasn't really slowed down, though. 36 years old. He's in his 15th year against the Los Angeles Rams. When he was putting together a heck of a game, he suffered a torn triceps. That was back in Week 12. At the time, it was said that he was going to be out for the rest of the year. But as he's gone through rehab and as he's done well in the rehabilitation process, he has not closed the door on returning to the Eagles this year if they make it to the Super Bowl. Here's what he said this week during his appearance on WIP. Let's get there. Let's go win this week. That's all I'm focused on. And then we'll see. Brandon Graham in 2024. He might be 36. He may have embarked on year 15. He may have signed a one-year contract with the Eagles and said, this is my final year. But with how well he's played, he started to reconsider it a little bit. Had an overall Pro Football Focus grade going into Week 12 and after Week 12 of 78.6 prior to the injury. A run defense grade of 80.1. He was consistently making plays in the backfield at that defensive end position. Really instinctual player who's not just a pass rusher, an all-around defensive player and a marquee leader and captain for this Eagles team. Had a pass rush grade of 71.8, 3.5 sacks, 20 pressures, while playing, I think, about 50% of the snaps, 13 hurries, 3 quarterback hits, and that only came on 169 pass rushing snaps. After he suffered that injury, and with how well he played under Vic Fangio, Fangio even said, Brandon Graham, he cannot go out like this. And I'm hoping that BG doesn't go out like that. I hope he returns for a 16th year. But if the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl and if the Birds win, what a way to go out if he goes out in that manner, if he's able to play in that game. Regardless of what happens, he's going to go down as one of the most legendary Eagles players of all time and an ultimate fan favorite. If you're looking to get an Eagles jersey, it's a good choice to get that number 55 because that name and that number and the player will resonate forever. That's why I love my Brian Dawkins authentic jersey, and that's something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. All-time Eagles legend. BG, 13th overall pick back in 2010. That was the year that I graduated high school, and he's still going. Super Bowl 52 champion. He helped seal that victory over the Patriots back in 2017 with the strip sack of Tom Brady. Biggest play in the history of this organization. Second team All-Pro in 2016. A Pro Bowler in 2020. 76.5 career sacks. That is number 3 all-time behind Reggie White and Trent Cole all-time for the Eagles. And he's number 1 for the most games played in Eagles history. We will take your questions on the other side. But first, let's give a shout out to our friends at Game Time. This is the only app that I use when it comes to getting tickets. It's not just an app for sporting events, by the way. I talk NFL for a living. Sometimes I need to unplug and I need to go to a concert. I need to go to a comedy show. I like to vibe to some tunes. I like to laugh to some jokes. If you want to take in some arts, you can do that as well with the Game Time app. Philadelphia, very well known for their arts, music, and comedy. So you can find all of these events on the Game Time app. And thanks to a new feature called Game Time Picks, curation makes it easier to find last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. You can access tickets from your phone. You can easily resell your tickets. You can see the view from your seat before you buy. So you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And let me say this. If you want to go to Eagles Commanders NFC Championship game at the link, plenty of tickets available. You get that bird's eye view of the stadium if you're very particular about what yard line you want to sit at, but you also get that vantage point and the price point from your seats. Flash deals, zone deals, the game time guarantee, where if you find a lower price elsewhere, Game Time will credit you up to 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply, first purchase only. Let's start to take your questions here. Louis or Luis? Hopefully I got it right one of the two times, but thank you so much for supporting the show. The Commanders' defensive coordinator just messed up big time in his press conference for saying this about Jalen Hurts. He added fuel to the fire for us, and we got you, Escalera. Thank you for the 5 once again. This is Joe Witt, the Commanders' defensive coordinator on Hurts. If he is going to run the ball, we are going to treat him like a running back. We're going to hit him that way. That's their decision if they want to get him hit. Of course, Jalen Hurts dealing with that knee injury, but he was a full participant during the Thursday practice as he continues to progress. Remember when George Kittle said in the lead up to the 2022 NFC Championship game, the Eagles defense was good on paper? Nick Sirianni told his team about that in a team meeting in the lead up to that game. You think that Sirianni is going to pop up that quote and say, we got to protect our quarterback? Remember how the Commanders acted after that Week 16 win? They acted as though it was their Super Bowl. Yeah, we're going to bring the heat in front of our home fans. Sharif Jones, who didn't practice that will affect our running game? So I'm recording this mailbag on Thursday during our live show. Cam Jurgens did not practice on Thursday. He is this team's starting center, Pro Bowler this year in his first year as a starting center at the NFL level and taking over for Jason Kelce. And so Landon Dickerson slid over from left guard to center, and he's the backup center. If Cam Jurgens can't play, it's a big loss for the Eagles team. The Commanders are pretty good along the defensive line. Frankie Louvu is a really good linebacker at that second level. Jurgens is so athletic with his ability to get out in space on these pull blocks. And while Landon Dickerson did play center in Alabama, it weakens you at center a little bit because of the inexperience, I think, and it weakens you at left guard because Tyler Steen would have to play there. You have to trust that Jeff Stoutland will have anybody ready to play along that offensive line, but that could impact the Eagles' rushing attack because the Commanders bottom 3 in rushing yards per attempt allowed and rushing yards per game allowed. And then Dallas Goedert didn't practice on Thursday either, and he's such a good blocker too. Andrew Nathan. Chase, the last time we played Washington, they had their defense chip our pooling linemen. We have to be careful because it sounds like they want to hurt our players. Just look at what the defensive coordinator said on Thursday. Yeah, we pass along that quote from Joe Witt. Frankie Louvu's hit on Jalen Hurts that led to the concussion, it was a little bit late. I'm not going to say that Louvu is a dirty player, but he plays hard. Bobby Wagner, extremely physical. We have a berth in the Super Bowl on the line here. So both of these teams are going to be smashing heads on a collision course. There's also this. Eagles are a little bit banged up coming out of that Rams divisional game. They played outside in the snow. Tough, hard-fought, physical game. The Commanders played indoors, blowout win, and they played on Saturday. A little bit of a rest advantage there, even though they're going to be on the road. Jeff O, will Zach Bond get his contract extended? I hope so, and he should. And if the Eagles have to fork over $13 million per year, they weren't willing to pay TJ Edwards that. Their defense suffered right away. They should pay Zach Bond that. Guy's a terrific linebacker, instinctual player, plays with good feel, plays with aggression, physicality. You can use him as a blitzer if you want to blitz. He's great off ball. He's so good in coverage. And in his first year playing off-ball coverage linebacker, first team All-Pro, finalist for Defensive Player of the Year, $3 million. Howie Roseman, sup. Andrew Nathan again. Chase, we need to score in the red zone. What's your formula for that to happen? I like that play action at Dallas that we had. Your thoughts? Yeah, I like some screen passes. I like some in-breaking routes to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. I like if A.J. Brown's one-on-one, I'm willing to take my chances throwing it up to him because of the physicality. Saquon Barkley on wheel routes, if you're in the high red, if you're in the low red, Utilize Dallas Goedert. I always love a little shovel pass, a little screen pass to the tight end to get some blockers out in front. The brotherly shove, going to be an important play too in the red zone. And how does Jalen Hurts' knee injury impact that play? Of course, you want to ride Saquon Barkley too. So those are plenty of reasons, that and a whole lot more, for how they can capitalize in the red area. PP suck. Nice. Hey, Chase, who do you really think the Eagles should draft for their first-round pick, or what position should they look at? You know, it's a very good question. Let's hope that the Eagles are picking 32nd. That would mean that they win the Super Bowl. If they make it, they'll pick 31st. If they don't, they'll be picking 28th, 29th, somewhere along those lines. You know, they really don't have a lot of needs. You know, I would love for the Eagles to draft Tyler Warren and maybe let Dallas Goedert go. And then you get a more affordable player who might be better than Dallas Goedert. I don't think he's lasting that long. Colston Loveland, the Michigan tight end, he's also a really good player who could be a sexy pick for the Eagles with where they pick in the back half of the first round. Knowing Philadelphia, though, Howie Roseman loves to build the trenches, and I agree with that team-building philosophy. So he could go offensive tackle, try to groom an offensive tackle to take over for Lane Johnson as he gets older. They could go defensive end if they let Josh Sweat go. Nolan Smith, he takes a leap. Bryce Huff, you got to play and produce a little bit more, and then you draft another edge rusher. That's a possibility. They could go corner depth. Isaiah Rodgers, a free agent. Darius Slay getting a little bit older. I want to keep Cooper DeJean in the slot so you get an outside guy. Do you go safety? Do you go linebacker? Yeah, this is some positions that come to mind. Wide receiver 3. Yeah, there you go. Predict the score. Commanders, Eagles coming up. NFC Championship game. Man, my juices are flowing. Chills.